Hey, y'all. Welcome to the FlashQuotes podcast. It's a beautiful day. Thanks for being with us. This is the best pod for mobile event businesses. And I am joined by my friends and FlashQuotes co-founders, Zack and Justin Goodhart, also of Goodhart Coffee. Hey, guys.
Hey.
You feeling good?
It's fall day here in Colorado. I love it. I love this time of year. It's cooling off a little bit. Got my sweater on.
Colorado falls are amazing.
Warm coffee.
I know. Well, we're going to talk to you all today about CRMs. The promise for this episode, if you stick to the end, is that you're going to have a deep understanding of CRMs, what they are, how they can impact your event business for the good, and understand which CRM to go for and which software tools to engage with.
What does CRM even stand for those who may not know?
CRM stands for Customer Relationship Management, a very commonly discussed term. And I think the name is very descriptive of what it is. It's a tool, and often a set of tools for managing your relationship with customers for the entire journey. Every interaction with your customer is going to be fundamentally transformed and enhanced with a great CRM tool set. And so we think in the event business, and really in any business where you're delivering quotes, you're trying to get somebody to book an event, you're delivering an event, that entire communication journey is absolutely pivotal to your success.
I got it right the second time, but
No, I got it wrong the second time. I think I said
pivotal.
Pivotal, yeah. So we're going to jump into all that. But before we do, if you like the pod and you're enjoying hanging out with us, we would greatly appreciate a subscription, a review, and a comment. Hit us up on any platform where you're listening, Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts. So with that, Justin, maybe you can take us back to some of the early CRM thinkings from your perspective with Goodhart Coffee. Farmers markets, very early days, 2017. Did you have any CRM? When did you start to feel like, oh, I need something, or I'm not going to be able to, deliver the quality I want to my customers?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the first time I ever heard the acronym CRM was probably from Ryan Spaccavento, owner of Coffee on Q in Australia. And I've been on some calls with him over the years. Great guy, incredible business. And I had no idea what a CRM was. So the earliest versions of what I did at Goodhart was in a spreadsheet. So every lead that came in, I think I knew enough and could get that lead automatically into the spreadsheet. That might have been one of my earliest zaps, was zapping the new lead into a spreadsheet where then I would have a bunch of check marks of first follow-up, second follow-up, third follow-up, or something along those lines. That was very labor intensive. That is technically it was a kind of crappy customer relationship management tool where I was trying to track, where people were in the process and what communications I'd had with them. Quickly, it became inadequate because then I was calling people from my personal phone and texting them from my personal phone and having notes scattered around in various places. So quickly, the spreadsheet wasn't cutting it anymore, and it was really hard to keep updated. So that was my first CRM. And then very quickly, the first problems I had with my CRM.
I would add, from a terminology perspective, and I know we have different people with different familiarity and different levels of sophistication with sales and marketing, right? But for the beginners like me, it's helpful to think about, okay, marketing is how people find out about me. Sales is once they found out about me, how do I book them? And then fulfillment is what happens after they book, right? So a CRM is a sales tool in that it takes people who are leads or have found out about you somehow, and it gives you everything you could possibly need to try and convert them into a booking, right? It's the point A to point B. This person's interested. Now I've booked them. What is all the stuff I need to make that happen? And to Justin's point, when you don't have a good CRM or a good system to help you support you, then the sales process suffers, right? So the promise of a CRM is hey, as I get more leads, every single one of them is going to get an A+ sales experience. They're going to get personalized follow-up. They're going to get all their questions answered in time. They're going to get a quote in their hands right away. They're going to get everything they need to maximize the chance that they book me, and it's going to happen at scale across every single lead that comes in as I grow. There's not going to be like things falling through the cracks or me being a bottleneck because I'm not organized or I forgot that email or I forgot to respond to their phone call. A CRM theoretically helps you solve all those problems and be able to give every single lead like the best sales experience they possibly could have.
Yeah, that's really, really well said. And I think how we do that at FlashQuotes is, on our free tier, basically we track all your leads, right? Because when you embed the FlashQuotes form on your website, every lead that comes through automatically gets ported into like your FlashQuotes admin panel. We auto draft the entire price quote for you. I was on a call recently with someone who had a lot of manual processes, who has a very impressive catering operation. I believe something like 1,000 events a year, and had a very, very, very manual process. We're talking like dragging and dropping things into folders to keep track of it. But actually, it was a functional CRM for them. But the quickest quote, I think they told me, the quickest quote they ever sent was like 2 minutes after a lead came in. Their average time was like 15 to 30 minutes, and that's with an entirely manual process, and that's fast for a manual process. And I told them, like, with FlashQuotes, your old record is going to be your new average, because we auto draft that quote, we port in all the lead details, all the quote details, auto draft that quote for you so that you can send it off and make sure, that's really step one of a CRM, is giving your client what they're looking for, which is a quote in this case. So we auto draft it, put all their info in there so you can call or text them. You've got their phone number and you can get that quote in their hands really, really fast. From there, usually people who are maybe earlier on in their catering journey, a couple years into business, the most critical thing they're often missing after sending out the initial quote is follow-up. They'll send the quote, maybe follow up once, and then never talk to that client again if they don't respond. So that's where we have, like, again, this is on the free plan. We have a really powerful capability to just automatically enroll every new lead. After you send them a quote, we automatically enroll them into a follow-up workflow sequence so that you can be confident that not a single one of your leads is going to fall through the cracks and not get follow-up.
Yeah, maybe we start with, Daniel, like what are kind of the puzzle pieces that comprise a CRM, right? Because there's a few things there, like follow up, lead tracking, intake, all that stuff. Like, just so people can understand, because I think the people I talk to are frequently confused about, like, what is a CRM? Like, is my spreadsheet a CRM? Is Honeybook a CRM? Is FlashQuotes a CRM? So maybe we could talk about like what those criteria are and the general feature sets that you should be looking for.
Yeah, I think the way we want to sort of frame the conversation is talking through this beginner, intermediate, advanced flow on CRMs and the different tooling that you can use to succeed there. I think for me, a broader view of CRM is more helpful, right? Like what you were talking about, Justin, your leads in a spreadsheet with to-dos around communication is a CRM. Like, these are my customers. And every message, every communication is a relational component of delivering and making the sale. I know you emphasize the sale component of it, Zack, and that's certainly a big part of the puzzle. But even after you've made a sale and you've booked an event, people want to know what's going on. People don't want to book and be in the dark. They want to get a confirmation. I booked. They want to know a week in advance what to expect. People are antsy. They've scheduled something. They're trying to put on an amazing event. They want to know that you're going to be there, you're going to show up on time, who's going to be there, what to expect. And that can go as far as, a CRM could help you automate. It's really a tool that helps you facilitate that relational component, right? Justin, you've talked about your baristas texting people day of event, like, hey, I'm Jane, I'm going to be working your event, I'm excited to see you at this point. They could send that from their personal phone. That could be, a SLA, a service level sort of agreement or requirement that you have as a business owner. But if you never want that text message to be missed, you could use a CRM tool to automate that text message to engage with that customer. And so to me, every relationship touch point along the entire journey, even after you've booked somebody, even after you've served their event. I just got I'm signed up for Justin's email on Goodhart Coffee. I just got like 5 emails that all said it's fall, it's 10% off. I mean, that's a sales email channel, but it's very relational. It's kind of this melding of sales comms and relationship comms. But I think a broad definition is really, really helpful as you think about your business. But the real key ones early on are around follow-up, right? And so I'm going to receive a request for a quote. I need to be able to follow up with that person. Like when you talk about your spreadsheet, Justin, those checkboxes were all follow-up related, right? I mean,
Yeah.
this person they've put like a little whisper into the wind, and chances are you may never even hear from them. Maybe it's a 50% chance you never hear from them, right? But the first things for you to do are follow up with that person. And so any fundamental CRM job to be done is I need to be able to follow up to this person, preferably in multiple channels. Maybe I'm calling them as well, supplementing the automation with a call. But a CRM is very much going to be follow up to, and then there's communications that happen. I mean, what do you guys think? So somebody responds via email. They're like, yeah, this sounds interesting, but it's a little bit out of my budget. Then you're communicating a little bit with them. There's no automation there, but the CRM function there is really starting to create a cohesive communication space that shows it all within the context of a lead. And that's a little bit different when we get into some advanced features. And I don't know, that still even feels like CRM-ish there as well.
Yeah, I mean, to me, the automation portions of a CRM with the follow-up is so that eventually you'll get the response. You want to facilitate a response. If you get a response, then it's time to make sure they understand the value. So we're kind of getting into some sales stuff, but the purpose of a CRM is like in the lead intake process, making sure they get the quote as soon as possible. Once they get the quote that you're communicating and they actually respond, so that's where like automated follow-ups is useful. And once they respond, now there's organic communication, but it's happening within the CRM. So that way you can remember what you've even said and where this person is. You have kind of those breadcrumbs of the communication you've had. So once people respond, sure, maybe there's budget pushback, but you want to start conveying the value of and making sure they understand how awesome the service is. And then hopefully you get that green light of like, oh, this sounds cool, I'm going to book. Then like that's where you can, kind of like flag them almost as like, okay, we've got the verbal agreement. We want to keep an eye that they actually follow things through and complete the booking. But especially with coffee catering or event services like, photo booth, mobile bar catering, like we're not like big food caterers or big wedding planners who do like 50 events a year. Like they can have an incredible business off of like 50 events a year. People like event planners, event photographers, big food caterers, but coffee catering and photo booths, so many of the service businesses who use FlashQuotes and who are our target customers, we're a little more high volume. Like we do 2, 3, 500, 1,000, 2,000 events a year. And for that reason alone, like we are event service businesses, we tend to operate at a higher volume. And so the number of leads and bookings we have coming through is crazy, is wild compared to a lot of other industries. And so I think that even highlights even more the need for a CRM. My event planners might have 20 new leads come in a day and 10 active bookings, that they're working on, each one of them. And keeping all that straight and who's who and what's what and where this is wild. And so without a good CRM to kind of track the breadcrumbs of exactly where you are and what you've said to this person, it's impossible to do at a certain level of scale.
One way to frame up like this conversation, and maybe this is a segue into like the beginner, intermediate, advanced thing, but it just occurred to me as you were talking, Justin, like, okay, let's pretend you only had one lead and you just cherished that lead and nurtured it and took perfect care of it, right? As soon as that lead inquired, you sent them an email with an instant quote within a matter of seconds, and you texted them and you called them, you built a relationship with them, you found out that they prefer to talk on the phone rather than email, so you kind of keep track of your calls. You send them information, you send them your brochure, you're learning more. Okay, what type of event is it? What kind of budget is it? Here's how we can meet you where you're at. Here's the perfect service for you. You convince them, they book, and you continue that communication all the way up to it, like they're the only person in the world, right? But that doesn't work as you grow. So to make them still feel that level of special and attended to, these CRM tools kind of help you progress from just one person who can totally obsess over this one lead all day to a team that can support many customers and many bookings at once. So maybe from that point, Daniel, we kind of jump into the, like, what does a beginner need as far as CRM to give that like A+ experience to their customers?
Let me pop in, Zach. I love what you just said there. That's like, I guess then the ultimate purpose of a CRM is so that you can provide a personal and thoughtful relationship and event experience to all those people and do it at scale and hopefully not burn yourself out, right? And that's really the job of a CRM. Like, if everyone's getting that personal and thoughtful, communication, then you're using that CRM correctly, as it really should be. And if you're not getting burnt out, right, with just all the communication. Man, sorry to jump in there. Go ahead, Daniel.
No, I love it. It's a great framing. I mean, we've already talked about lead capture, right? How does this person who wants my one customer get a hold of me? That's fundamental. We've already talked a lot about follow-up automation. Like, somebody reaches out and they say, hey, I want to do an event with you. Don't ghost them. Like, that's not cool. Don't reach out to them 2 hours later. Get there within minutes with very quick quoting. Follow up with them many times, right? They're busy. Reach out to them. Some other key core functions are pipeline management. Where is this person in the journey? Have I quoted them? Have they just requested a quote? And reporting as well, data about them. So in kind of the starter beginner world, what we've built in FlashQuotes, the starter tier, is a lot of that functionality. Lead requests on a website, automated follow-ups. Really cool way of viewing your holistic leads. Have I quoted this person? When did I quote them? Have I quoted them previously? Have I booked them previously? Aggregation of data and who they are. Like, have you ever met somebody at a party and they're like, oh, hey, Justin, like, so good to see you. How are you doing? And you can't remember who they are and you're kind of freaking out and you're like whispering to somebody beside you, like, hey, who is this? Oh, hey, Tanya, great to see you again. You don't want to be caught off guard. And when you're using some really fundamental tenets of a CRM, you have an aggregated view of who that person is, usually mapped to their email address. We do this at FlashQuotes. We know who has booked in the past, what their prior quotes are, what the prior event information is. And so you can actually provide an amazing experience to that person and treat them like that one precious customer without having to dig through a whole bunch of, prior quotes and see all this information. So that's a really important part of what we've got in the starter pack. And then some reporting to know, okay, I've sent a quote to somebody. Have they seen the email? Have they even opened it? Have they looked at the quote? Am I going to talk to them about a quote that they haven't even looked at? Have they clicked book now? We've got all of that built in, and that's a really amazing part of kind of the first beginner step for a CRM. What you start to see when you go into more advanced CRM is, okay, I'm going to try and aggregate this holistic view of the relationship at a granular communication level. And the prominent communication channel for most people is going to be email. And so what we've built out at FlashQuotes is a kind of a new tier of functionality with our FlashQuotes Plus plan that allows you to ratchet up your CRM capabilities and take them to the next level. And that's been really cool to see the early stages of that. And we're going to continue building that out. But essentially what that allows you to do is take your entire Google Workspace inbox, bring it into FlashQuotes, and have every email thread with that lead all in one place. So now all of a sudden you're meeting Tanya at a party. You not only know when you quoted her last year, but you have the entire thread of all the conversations that you had with her at that point in time, how she communicated, what she liked, what they were looking for, what business she works for, where they actually had the event, who the contact person was at that point in time, so that you can come to the table with an incredible collection of information and insight to provide next level service. And I think that's the next level where you don't have to have this context switching. You're not jumbling between your phone and your email account and your CRM. You're actually having a really cohesive experience. So to me, that's a really fundamental part of the advanced level world.
Yeah, and with coffee catering, there's so many details to pull off an event successfully. The staff that was there, the guest count, the packing list, the timeline, any add-ons they had, and we can bring with FlashQuotes, we can really bring it to the repeat customers to the highest level of service. Which if you've ever frequented a coffee shop, a bar, a restaurant, if you're a regular, you walk in, the person recognizes you, and they're just like the usual. And that's really what kind of we hope to achieve here, where you could build these really dedicated repeat customers where they can just be like, oh, hey, same as last time. And you can literally copy that booking within 2 clicks and have everything there, all of those details, and you're ready to service that event. The invoice is created, everything is right there. And like that to me is the highest tier of just reaching that regular status, same as last time, like the usual. Yep, the usual. And just being able to execute that and give them all that info instantly is really powerful.
Yeah. I just had a funny thought, remember Google Glass, like that kind of like failed AR glasses product, and now there's some new ones coming on, right? But part of the whole promise of that was like you could just walk around in the world and like see someone, and it would just tell you like this is how you know them, and this is where they went to college, and this is like all this information about that person. That still doesn't exist in the real world yet. Maybe it will soon with like where AR and VR is going. But in the digital world and in like the desk worker world, it exists, in a good CRM where you just you get an email from someone, you go look at their profile in FlashQuotes, and you see, okay, oh yeah, here's how many times they booked us, how many quotes we sent them, here's everything we said. Oh yeah, I remember they said something about like their daughter was getting married or whatever. Like I should ask about that. It's a nice personal touch. Just having that all collapsed into one place to make it as easy for you to do it and do it across many leads as you grow, right? That's kind of the promise there.
Yeah. Some other things just to mention on this Plus plan that we've launched that are somewhat adjacent to CRMs. One people are really enjoying as well is Google Calendar integration. And this is a big one that folks have asked for. It can really help with service delivery because we will take all the information, the links to our event details and FlashQuotes, and put them into your Google Calendar. So you can really see holistically, hey, here are all the events, here are the shifts, and can really go a long way into delivering that same day service at a really high quality that enhances the relationship.
Hey, Justin, I'm wondering, like, for people listening, maybe they're on like the current free version of FlashQuotes, like they've been cruising for a while, they're pretty happy with that, but they're growing, they're getting more leads. Like, what do you think are the telltale signs that it may be time to think about like upgrading to have to the plus tier where you need like full on Gmail and read write integration and all that stuff in one place, and the Google Calendar? Like, how would you coach someone to assess whether they're ready to take that step up?
If you're out of time, if you find yourself short on time every day and you feel like you're not getting things done, that's the telltale sign that, like, it's time to improve systems, right? And create more thoughtful automations. And so on the Plus plan, you get all of that email directly in FlashQuotes, so you don't have to be tabbing back and forth. You've got full context there in FlashQuotes. You don't have to manually create those Google Calendar events, which is most commonly used for your staff, right? So it kind of saves you on that operations piece. And I think that's also, why you may be interested in the Pro plan, where there's Zapier integration and you can create even more automations and, reminders to clients, to your staff. And yeah, that same answer all the time. If you're short on time or and stressed and trying to sprint to get everything done, it's time to like level up and build out more operational efficiency. And that's kind of our philosophy with FlashQuotes is like, if it's going to be revenue generating for you, we want it on the free plan because we want to see your revenue grow. I think we want to see you grow. We want to see your revenue grow, and anything that contributes to revenue growth, we're going to try to put it on the free plan. Once you're growing and, then we do tend to put kind of the more operational efficiency things, and time saving things on maybe the Plus plan or something. But that's kind of our current philosophy. Could change in the future, but.
So if you're on intermediate and you're doing all these automations, you're following up with people, you have Gmail integration, you're really in a fairly mature state overall. I think the next level is ratcheting it up, that multimodal experience. I don't just want to email somebody, I want to text them as well. I want to potentially automate a call as those sorts of tools become more prominent and capable. Right now, in the world of FlashQuotes, we think about that as a part of our the advanced functionality on our Pro plan, and really the ultimate tinkerer. Like, you want to have complete flexibility. You don't want to have to wait for Zack or I to build something or put in a feature request. You just want to go, go, go. And with our Pro plan, we have Zapier integration, API integration, which Zapier is essentially a tool set to connect a whole bunch of different tools together in kind of an if this, then that dynamic. If there's a new booking in FlashQuotes, trigger an email. If there's a new quote that comes in, trigger an SMS text message. And so you can kind of have complete control of your entire universe layered on with the native features within FlashQuotes, and that can be extremely powerful. I know, Justin, you've used that for a differentiator as you've thought about Goodhart Coffee and really standing out in the marketplace.
Yeah. We've extended the features of the CRM. We've extended our operational efficiency. I think this is my craziest month ever with Zapier. I believe I'm about to reach my limit for the month of 100,000 zaps. We've had 100,000.
You're like an elite customer. They're gonna fly you to Vegas soon and like treat you to a football game or something. Like you're in the high roller status with Zapier.
I don't know. Maybe I am. But yeah, and so that, like, I love that stuff. I love being able to, and you can pull all of your FlashQuotes data out on the Pro plan. Every single granular detail about the lead, the booking, the event, the timeline, you can pull it out and you can do cool stuff with it. I mean, truly, the sky's the limit. Your creativity is the limit. Your kind of dream of the customer experience is the limit on what you can then accomplish. And our philosophy is, like, a lot of times those things that first, like, maybe I was doing in Zapier for a while, our vision at FlashQuotes is to eventually, as time permits, we're just going to bring in more and more and more of those things natively. So that's kind of, Zapier is almost like the testing ground of new features. And when we test it, we pull out all of the FlashQuotes data through Zapier. The kind of power users may test these new things and then come back and be like, hey, this would be super amazing and powerful inside FlashQuotes natively. And then then we work to build it and just eat up more and more of that, bring more and more of that power natively into FlashQuotes weekly or daily.
If you guys are interested in like learning more about Zapier and automations and like how to build custom systems that help your business grow, like drop a comment and let us know. I mean, we could do a whole episode on that. I have a couple people in mind who might be like small business Zapier automation experts who could come on as a guest or something. So yeah, if that's interesting to you, drop a comment and tell us what you want to hear about.
Nice. Well, we've gone through a lot of CRM-ish things.
Yeah. One thing we missed on the Pro, like advanced side, Daniel, is instant quoting, and what does that mean for potentially accelerating or skipping steps or kind of simplifying the CRM process?
Yeah, I think that's a great point. So in FlashQuotes Pro, we have instant quoting, which means somebody can fill in a lead intake form on your website, provide all the information, everything they want, and then they will very delightfully be navigated immediately to a quote that they can book, which is really incredible and unheard of in the space, and a major, major differentiator for you as a business. And I think when we think about customer relationship, we don't want to just have talking for talking's sake. Like, we're really trying to provide an amazing experience and take somebody to booking you. And so a lot of times these automated follow-ups are necessary because somebody is putting something out in the ether and then having to wait for you. But if you can give them what they want without them having to wait for it, that just short circuits an entire part of the process where you might otherwise have email that goes to spam or gets lost amongst the whole sea of email, and then they never come back to you. And so while you have their attention and their intention to book, being able to instantly provide them a price that they can book on the spot is a major enhancement to the customer journey and their relationship.
Yeah, and I've been doing now at Goodhart instant quoting for years. I don't know, 2, 3 years. Two things that I've learned about instant quoting is that, well, actually a few. Let's see. It is not a substitute for building a real relationship. So if it's a first-time customer, it's even more important actually that you do ideally get that person on a call, because service businesses are kind of scary to book. It's not a physical product, right? People, it can be a little bit of a black box. Maybe they've had a bad experience with another coffee caterer. And so and we're high ticket, right? We might be, 6, 7, 800, a couple thousand, whatever it is. So I think in my world, that even highlights more. Like, I'm giving you an instant quote. That's even more important now that I get on the phone with you, so that you can build trust. You've got the price, but you need your anxiety soothed, and you need to know it's a real person, and we can build the trust. So I feel like that piece, that is actually during non-busy times of the year. What we start to see is that, especially in corporate, during busy times of the year, and people are stressed at their job but also have the responsibility, like, their plate is full at work, but they also are tasked with booking this event. So you start to see people like kind of almost panic book things. That's where, like, okay, I don't know, I don't have time. This service looks great. Whoa, I can get an instant quote and book. I'm gonna do it, and my event's in, like, 5 to 10 days. And if you're operationally set up for that, it's incredible, because you will get a lot of kind of last minute bookings or people who are just really busy. So we see that in some cities more than others, like tech savvy cities like San Francisco. We see tons of like instant bookings come through. And then the third place where instant booking is incredibly powerful is with repeat customers, because they already know, like, and trust you. And the first time you see, within like 5 minutes, new lead, new booking, invoice paid, those three things happening instantly without you doing anything is so, so freaking cool.
Yeah.
And
That's the cheat code. Like that's the yeah.
yeah, it's
Once you can start getting the easy ones.
yeah, it's absolutely incredible. And so, there are some things to be aware of when it comes to instant quoting, and just how much you really do still have to build the relationship. Instant quoting does not allow you to bypass the relationship. It just highlights highlights the importance of it even more, of a call or a text. But yeah, I will never go back. I will never not instant quote. Instant quoting scares a lot of vendors. A lot of people are scared to instant quote, and that's fair, because it is a little bit scary if you're like not as operationally efficient as you need to be. But I really think, like, with the tools we provide at FlashQuotes, we give you crazy operational efficiency and insight. Like, and we talk a lot about in the podcast how to improve that operational efficiency. So when you have it and you're comfortable taking a booking 2, 3 days away, like, instant quoting will blow up your revenue in some really powerful ways.
I think sometimes the other reason people are a little bit nervous about instant quoting is maybe they don't. It's because it forces them to really think about their pricing. They can no longer just like just kind of on a go with their gut feel, or or do these kind of one-off ups and downs and things like that. Or a lot of people will just have kind of like, I kind of do it about like this much, and if it feels like a long event, maybe I'll tack on a little more. In order to do instant quoting, you kind of have to really get, put the pencil to paper and think about like, what is the formula to figure out my perfect price every time. But we can help you with that. We have tools to support it. Uh, we've done it with a lot of businesses who love it and are never going back. If you need some help thinking about it, if you're intrigued by instant quoting, but you don't, you need a little bit of help thinking about how it would work for you, book a call with us, and we'll talk to you about it.
Yeah, and we also have like an off ramp for instant quoting. So in FlashQuotes, you can say, hey, if this quote is going to be instantly calculated above this dollar threshold, we will actually route it to a manual quote, just because that threshold, a $1,500-$1,800 threshold for a lot of businesses mean it's either like a really long conference day, multi-day, or a really far travel distance. And so those may warrant some additional considerations. So yeah, we can protect you from not instant quoting events that maybe shouldn't be and you do want your eyes on, but for the bulk that are under a certain dollar threshold, we can safely instant quote those.
And that process of going through the pricing, while it could be painful, it probably gets you in a better, healthier position with your financials, right? I think a lot of times when it's more gut feel, you might risk having prices that at certain points have a very low margin overall versus thinking about, okay, these are my actual costs of the people that are there at the event, the materials, the opportunity cost of maybe having multiple, carts there, multiple resources. So I think it can actually put you in a really healthy financial state with the whole range of pricing that you offer, which can be good.
Yeah. Yeah. Some of our most mature like operators that we've talked to on FlashQuotes, they all think about it from that perspective. How can my pricing protect my margin, right? So you shouldn't. Some pitfalls that you should avoid are reducing your price because you think it's like it just feels too high and you're afraid they'll say no, or not knowing what your costs are as far as labor and transport and materials, and are you factoring in mileage? Are you factoring these other things that need to be kind of baked in? So that's a great exercise to work backward from. I want X margin. I don't know, Justin, maybe if you can share like some reasonable ranges, and then working backward from that your price is kind of derived from your costs and your target margin, not just what you think the person will pay or what feels expensive or cheap or what other people are pricing at.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a believer that all intelligent pricing starts with first knowing your cost to service that event, and then you can tune the dial. So let's say it's going to cost you $300 to $400 to service an event. Typically, you'd want to double that at least in coffee catering, and that might be like your minimum price. If it costs you $300 to serve or $400 to serve, at least charge them $800. If not, like you multiply it by 2 to 2.5, whatever you're comfortable, and wherever you're trying to position yourself. But all intelligent pricing starts with knowing your costs. Then you can intelligently tune the dial and position yourself in the market effectively. On some other exciting stuff we have, just to improve the CRM functionality on the FlashQuotes mid-tier plus plan, is going to be more triggers. So that right now, the only trigger we have, where it's kind of the workflow features a little bit in beta, where the only trigger we have is a new quote being sent. And that's the trigger that kicks off all of the automated follow-up emails from there. But we're going to be adding more triggers so that way you can increase, hopefully add in even more meaningful relationship touch points at scale. Daniel, or Zach, what are some of the vision for the triggers we may add?
Yeah, some really big ones are, relative to when the event starts. So before the event starts, maybe 7 days before, whatever duration you want, a nice follow up with the client, just saying, hey, looking forward to the event. Here are some things to expect. Just expectation setting. You could do multiple. You could do 7 days before, 1 day before, totally within your control. Another one is after the event ends. So maybe a day after the event ends, it's a general thank you message, perhaps requesting Google reviews and feedback. We know that reviews are a major signal in the marketplace and something that you can't really fake very, very successfully. And so you want to get real authentic quality reviews. And then even, you could technically do even further from that event. You could do 365 days from that event, and something could be scheduled for, a quick touch point, or, 9 months later, hey, is this something that you're interested in doing again? So we're excited to layer those in there. That kind of goes along with something I wanted to say. I mean, a lot of this podcast, we're talking about CRMs. We're certainly talking about FlashQuotes a lot because we think it's awesome, and we've built it to service these needs. There's plenty of other options out there. We really believe that we're the best option for mobile event businesses, and are going to continue to improve the product to hold that place. But just a general thank you to all of our customers. The amount of feedback we get on a regular basis, literally every day, is unbelievable and a huge gift. So we are so appreciative of that. It makes building this product and selling it and introducing it to new customers so fun, and it allows the product to solve real pain points that you and others like you have. And our promise is to continue improving the product and making it better with meaningful features for you. And the plus feature set is new. It's only going to get better from here. And we will welcome your feedback along the way as we're building out FlashQuotes and the Plus plan. Plus, today you can sign up and get a free 30-day trial. So I would absolutely love if you checked it out. flashquotes.com/pricing or the billing page if you're already in the app, and hit us up. We are all ears all the time.
Yeah, 100%, man. I want to tell a quick story that underscores what Daniel just said. So rewind the clock. About 3 years ago, FlashQuotes is just a little idea. It's a twinkle in me and Justin's eye. And Justin's like, let's get together and let's kind of like have a whiteboard brainstorm session at the warehouse to talk about like, what is this going to be? Like, what are the features? What is it? So we're hanging out in Justin's warehouse. Some of you have seen it. We're in the machine shop side where he's got 3D printers whirring and a bunch of welding equipment working on his latest cart design. And he has like one little whiteboard in the corner, and we're writing on sticky notes, like feature ideas, and trying to group them and categorize them. And like, what's the MVP? What's it going to have? What's it not going to have? And I don't know if you remember this, Justin, but we wrote like in big letters on there, one thing that FlashQuotes was not. Do you remember that?
Not a CRM.
Not a CRM. At that point in time, I was, as the developer, I'm just thinking like, God, CRMs are so complicated and there's a lot there, and we don't want to, like, we can't possibly tackle all that. We have this other idea, which is just this smart kind of instant proposal builder tool that maybe that's where we're going to start. And so we started there, we built and we iterated and we listened to customers. And then along the way, like Daniel was saying, we just kind of kept responding to what else people need, what else they need, what are their biggest pain points, what are their problems. We started learning more about how they're communicating and how they're selling. And we started hearing like, gosh, I really need a way to automatically follow up with my leads. I just can't remember to do it all the time. And like, I want them to have this sequence of things that happen after they have their first touch point with me. And gosh, I want them to have, a booking confirmation page, and I want them to be able to instantly book the quote. And I want to be able to configure these things about the quote. And I want to like track my past communication and my past bookings. And like along the way, we just realized, oh, it is a CRM. Like that's what people need, and that's fine. Like we just kind of evolved our way there, and that wasn't originally the plan, but it became that just through a ton of awesome event business owners like believing in us, believing in the product, and giving us great feedback along the way, and just continuing to lead us down the path to what they needed. And then we woke up one day and we're like, oh, we built a CRM. Great, let's lean into that. Let's be the best CRM there is.
Yeah. Yep. And there's a saying about AI that it's like, AI today is the worst it's ever going to be, right? AI is like crazy powerful, but we're still in like the young years of AI. And that's kind of how I feel a little bit about FlashQuotes. Like it's crazy powerful, but it's only going to keep getting better. Like we are so excited and committed to the industry. We just brought on actually our first, client success manager. We want to be like, we want to offer, like, in addition to all the powerful features, we want to provide incredible customer service and support. And actually, in hearing kind of the whispers as I've been onboarding, I'm on so many calls every week, onboarding new clients and customers and checking in with existing ones. And they tell me the things they say about FlashQuotes to people who are considering it. Yeah. Like, and I've heard, the last week or two, like it's not at all like 17 hats. Like 17 hats, you're just left to your own devices. Like they'll walk you through everything. They'll get you set up. They'll take care of you. And that's really our vision, to provide that level of service. We realized early on that, like, even though us as individuals don't actually want kind of like a high touch white glove onboarding. When we sign up for some software, we want to just do it ourselves and set it up ourselves. But we realize that FlashQuotes users like are doing a brain transplant on their business, and they want and need high touch and high support. So I don't know if we've ever really talked about that very much, but hearing our clients tell other people interested in FlashQuotes, like, just book a call with them. They will take care of you. They will answer all your questions. They'll make sure you're set up properly. Was like really, really cool and satisfying to hear right from someone else's mouth. So if you are considering FlashQuotes, you haven't booked a demo, you haven't talked to us, book a call. We will take care of you. We're going to make sure that like you're set up properly, that you're comfortable, confident, and cruising on FlashQuotes, and really with the end goal of like, allowing, really taking your business to the next level. So
Take it to the next level.
sweet. That's all the time we've got for today. Thank you all for listening. And for those of you who already use FlashQuotes and who already believe in the product and trust us with the core kind of brain of your business, like Daniel said, we're super grateful. We're honored. We take it seriously. We are working relentlessly to continue improving it, doing FlashQuotes and building a great product for you. If you haven't already, please rate, review, leave a comment wherever you're watching or listening, and we'll see you next week.